everybody, today I'm here to discuss episodes 10 and 11 of Neverafter, the new Dimension 20 season. Now, I don't think I've mentioned this before, or maybe I have. It's been a lot of episodes. It's starting to blend together, but I really like how different each episode feels this season, and like what really cemented that for me was the battle against the boar, because I feel like we hadn't had a battle episode like that with like an actual set since I believe the Miss Muffet spider one, which was quite a bit ago now. I mean, episode-wise and story-wise, with all they've learned since then. Like, it's kind of crazy to think of how far they've come. But I really, really liked the battle episode, and I liked that it was like an episode dedicated just to the battle, basically. I loved the set. I mean, my gosh, that was probably one of the best sets they've ever done, and they do amazing sets. But just like that image of the big bad wolf, of how striking he is, like just the size of him in the stew, like I thought, like when they first saw it, I was like, okay, that's like his body, and then I realized it was just his head, and I was like, this thing is massive. It was also nice to see them, I feel like, kind of winning for a change. Like, there weren't really any truly gasp-worthy moments all that much. I think the only moments I got really, really worried were when they almost got knocked into the soup originally, and Brennan revealed to us so nicely that falling in the soup is the same as taking lava damage, basically. That got me worried, because I was like, okay, if someone falls in this soup, they're screwed. And then when Mother Goose went down, because I think that instantly gave me flashbacks to how badly the first battle went. It's actually kind of funny how Mother Goose has gone in these battles when you really think about it, because the first one, obviously everyone died. The second one, they were prone for the majority of the battle. It still did amazing things, but just like prone. And then this one, they were knocked out for about half of it, I would say. So I feel like we still haven't gotten Mother Goose at like their full capacity, you know? Like, I want to see them tearing it up on the battlefield and like see them at their full potential, and I'm just excited to see that. But yeah, that battle was really, really cool, and it was just nice again to see them. I think now that they're a higher level and they're kind of more adept at their powers and working with each other and stuff like that, how they were able to turn the tide and win the battle, and it was just beautiful. I love the idea of like them freeing this thing that like maybe other people would be like, hey, we shouldn't free this, but like in terms of what the story was, it was perfect. And it's another idea of the boar had been awakened, but it's now this whole other thing, because we've gotten the princesses who kind of are rejecting their story and being like, I don't want to just do this and like live this. I want to be able to choose my own destiny. We've got the fairies who are awakened but want to stick to the canon and be like, hey, this is where my power comes from. I don't want to upset the authors and stuff like that, and are desperately trying to get it back to how it should be. And then we've got this boar now who was awakened, who in his version of this, because I assume because the wolf killed his brothers, he now was trying to erase all versions of this wolf, meaning that there would be no death, which on one hand, you're like, wow, you're trying to avenge your brother, but then on the other hand, you also found out that, like, he was, like, a weapons manufacturer, so, like, a war where, like, an endless war where, like, soldiers couldn't die, obviously he would profit from that, so you have to wonder how much of it was really, like, sentimental, like, trying to get vengeance for his brothers, and how much of it was just, like, hey, I'm seeing an opportunity for this, and I'm gonna take it where I can. So I think it was just cool that, like, there's all these different reactions to being, like, quote-unquote awakened, and it's just really interesting to see the different ways that people can react to it and how they can use or not use the information to their benefit, which I think is really cool. We also got to know he was in touch a little bit with the fairies, but obviously did not reveal to them, or at least the fairy with the blue hair that we knew, that he had the wolf. And I think this also cemented for me that like the princesses are good. I feel like there was like a little worriment for a little while when the fairies were like, oh, the princesses are bad, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if they're like pulling the wool over my eyes? And this whole time I've been like, princesses rock, they're amazing, and now they're really gonna be the bad ones. But like, no, the princesses are the good ones. The party is officially with the princesses, and that was what the second episode that I'm gonna discuss was mainly about. I was really, really sad. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted them to go to Toy Island. I was sad when they voted to go find Baba Yaga, because as much as I think she's a cool character, she also terrifies me. It was giving me flashbacks to like Critical Role when they had to go visit the hag that had cursed Not, and like just that unlimited, unbridled power and that like high wisdom of just like you're not getting out of this situation without losing something, which Critical Role actually pulled it off. I mean, Critical Role, Laura Bailey actually pulled it off, but I just feel like I'm very, very worried if they were to go meet her, especially now with like Timothy still having a wish up in the air and all this other things that I feel like they could be bargained against them, or if they're made to ask a favor. Like, this clearly is not, I don't want to say it's like the big bad. I think it's just like a neutral entity that like is always gonna be self-serving its purpose. Like the Baba Yaga was the one that woke up the stepmother, and did she necessarily know that all this was gonna happen? Maybe, maybe not, but I feel like it's just clearly she's not someone to be trifled with, and I just feel like they don't, as much as they do know, I feel like they still don't know a full amount enough to feel like I would feel comfortable against them really standing their own against Baba Yaga. So when they made that decision, I was like, oh, okay. Even though, again, I really want to see Toy Island. And I've been wanting to find the Little Mermaid for so long. And, like, we finally got more information about her. And I'm like, I just want to meet her. I want to know what she's like. I want to know if she has a voice, like, what she thinks of all of this. Because her story is, like, I mean, the criticism of, like, I know it's more like the, like, Disney version of it, but the criticism is that, like, it's a girl that gives away her voice to fall in love with a guy. And I feel like if you had to relive that story over and over again, or even if she had to relive her original story where she turns into sea foam at the end and dies, like, I could see where she'd be a little pissed about that story and not wanting to relive it over and over again. So I just wanted to meet her I want to meet another princess so bad. So that's why I was, like, disappointed when we weren't going to Toy Island, but I was like, I get it. Fine, we're gonna go talk to Baba Yaga. She's obviously gonna have like a bunch of important plot points. It's fine. And then we got a take two with this decision because they showed up in Snowhold, right? Snowhold is the place they're going. And we found out that Snow White is fighting back against these giants that are taking the land. And not only that, but Snow White has an army of the undead, which I just think is amazing. The idea of like Snow White, who like herself was like sleeping, like, I mean, Rosamund was too, but like Sleeping Beauty, like the actual thing for Snow White is like a sleep like that's indiscernible from death or something like that. Like that's like the exact quote. That's why she's so pale and her lips are red and all that, because she's supposed to look like she's dead. So I like the idea of flipping that, of now like this curse that she has had on her, she's now commanding it, and she's making like the dwarfs that we met were undead, and like just an army of like zombies that like Snow White is controlling. I love it, and I'm so excited to meet her and see what her portrait is going to look like, because it's been so long since we talked to Cinderella or any of the other princesses. So I was very, very excited when they were like talking about if they should stay here and go with the wolf to go find Baba Yaga, or if they should leave with the dwarfs who were leaving right now and go meet Snow White. And they decided to go meet Snow White, and I was so excited, and I am so excited to see what she's going to be like and what her whole vibe is going to be. I just think it's so, like, I really wanted them to go find Ariel, because, like, I just think her story is so interesting in terms of how Brennan is going to reframe that, and, like, her own feelings on that story I think will be really interesting. But Snow White's as well. Snow White, I feel like, has always been rated as one of the more, like, passive princesses, of, like, everything just kind of, like, happens to her, which I feel like is like kind of what Rosamund's struggling with too. And I feel like two princesses who both had like a sleeping curse put on them, like she could really help Rosamund out. And then in the preview they were showing that, I think it was Snow White, I'm not quite sure who was talking, but I would assume it's Snow White. Sounds like they knew about Princess Elodie and she was on her way to this world, which will be really interesting because, as you know, I am now a huge Elodie and Gerard shipper. Like, I really hope that they can, like, I mean, I want them to get back together, but I want what's best for both of them, and, like, I just hope they can part as, like, friends, even if, like, you know, they don't end up back together or something like that, or if they can start anew or something like that, I think would be really cute. But I'm just really, really excited. I feel like we're definitely in, like, the, like, last third of these episodes. I feel like this is starting like the phase 3 of the season, if that makes sense. So I feel like things have to get moving, and not that they weren't moving before, but like pieces have to start coming together a bit more. And I just feel like a big part of that is going to be the princesses. So now that we're meeting Snow White, and she sounds so badass and so cool with being like the queen of the undead, I'm just so excited to meet her and see what her whole story is, how she found out about being awakened, and maybe Cinderella will be there and pop up or something like that. I just think this opens so many more, you know, chances for the heroes to kind of find out more, but also take back their world and maybe be like, you know, like, this world is bad, but there's still a chance that we can make it our own. Like, there's still people that are fighting back and, you know, trying to make the best of what they can, because obviously, like, what happened in Snowhold was not great, and now they have Snow White to lead kind of like a fighting chance of taking back from, you know, the people that are not supposed to be there. So I'm excited. We also got some fun stuff with the Gander finding out that he most likely is in debt to Baba Yaga, and like that could be why he's been able to stay there. And then we also got an interesting bit from the Big Bad Wolf saying that, like, there's been a saying that, like, the gander and the goose can't fly, or the golden goose can't fly at the same time, and he always took that to mean, like, literally, like, oh, if, like, the one's up, one's down. But, like, the way that I interpret it now from what what he was saying, it sounds like maybe the goose is like kidnapped somewhere like he was, like stuck so that the gander can still be there, or maybe the goose and the gander are the same person and it's just like two sides of the same thing, you know? But I could also see it being, like I said, that the goose is like locked up somewhere like the big bad wolf was, because obviously from knowing what we know about the pig now, I feel like this shows me that there's probably a lot more people out there that are awakened than we realize, and they all could have different agendas. So like, don't trust the fairies as far as I can throw them, but who knows who else is out there that knows like what's going on, you know, and like what their own agenda. The kings seem to be aware of something going on, maybe not the awakened thing, but something of like, there's this battle brewing for Neverafter, and like, what side do you want to be on? And I think what's really interesting is that how the fairies are going to cling to their kind of sense of being right as things start to go on, because obviously the princesses are fighting in a way that they had not before, and that's going to disrupt things and shake things up. And I'm just really interested to see, you know, it's like how they were talking about like the fairy, like I think Gerard brought it up, of like the fairy with the blue hair is big on not lying, but like if she just doesn't want to tell you the truth about something, she just won't answer your question. So it's like, it's not like she's like, oh, I'm all about telling the truth. It's like she's about not lying. Like there's a difference, right? So I'm just super excited for them to meet Snow White. I think it's going to be so great and so amazing. And we also have to go to Toy Island and get our training bra for Ilfa. Like that is high priority on my list, probably before anything else. So I really, really enjoyed these episodes, and I'm just so looking forward to meeting Snow White. I absolutely cannot wait to see what her character design is going to look like, what her personality is going to be like, and how Brennan is going to take a flip on that storyline, and I'm just so, so excited. So yeah, if you have seen these past two episodes and have any thoughts or reactions or theories for what's going to happen come the next few episodes, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the reveal of Snow White, and also like getting to know the undead dwarfs, hearing more from the big bad wolf and what he had to say about the world and all that. I think it was just really, really fun. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!